ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So Sati is further analyzing the reasons of why Daksha is so envious, why Daksha is a great offender. It is very important for all of us to understand these reasons, because in devotional service, if we want to progress, either in chanting the holy name of the Lord, in deity worship, or among the devotees, there are many different kinds of offenses. When we are performing deity services, there are seva aparadh. We must be cautious not to commit offenses while doing deity services. Similarly, when we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, there are 10 offenses which we need to avoid. They are called nam aparadh. So there is seva aparadh, there is nam aparadh. And Prabhupada explains that in nam aparadh, the greatest aparadh is to chant the holy name on the strength of the holy name. We are chanting and we are committing sinful activities, thinking, namano balad yasya hi papa buddhi, that by my chanting, all my impurities will go away even if I commit sinful activities. That is one of the greatest offenses. Many more offenses are there, totally 10 offenses which we have to avoid if we want to progress. Similarly, in our dealings in the community of devotees, we have to guard against Vaishnava aparadh. Narottam Das Thakur in his song says, if one commits offenses towards the holy name, Tare Harinam, by chanting constantly, he can still come out of those offenses. But if one commits offenses at the lotus feet of great Vaishnavas, pure devotees of the Lord, nahi paritra, there is no way for him to advance. There is no doubt that he will diminish in his spiritual life. So, it is very important for us to understand what is the reason one commits offenses. So here, Sati is analyzing this. Why Daksha is so? So she is telling, na ascharya etad yad asatsu sarvada. I have no surprise This is not very wonderful. It is not surprising. What is not surprising? Sarvada, always engaged in sa irshayam, to be engaged in envious activities towards great personalities. So Prabhupada is translating. It is not wonderful for persons who have accepted the transient material body as the self to engage always in deriding great souls. So who are these people who are always deriding great personalities? That is Mahat Vininda Kunapatma Vadishu. Who are these people who are doing Mahat Vininda, deriding the great personalities? Kunapatma Vadishu. Those who are grossly engrossed in bodily concept of life. As long as we will remain in bodily concept of life, there is no doubt we will be committing offenses towards great devotees. So, if we want to come out of this Vaishnava Aparadh, then we have to become advanced in our spiritual understanding, in our spiritual life. Why? What is the reason? Prabhupada explains, because when he is on the bodily platform, he is no better than animal. You cannot expect gentle behavior from an animal. He is like, Prabhupada gives an example, cows and asses. Just like the Vedic literature says, anyone who identifies himself with this body made up of Tridhatuke, sa eva gokhara, is no better than ass or a cow. That means foolish. So foolish person on the bodily concept of life, you cannot expect that he will not offend great devotees of the Lord. And if we want them to come out, then we have to actually give them Krishna consciousness, preach to them Krishna consciousness. When they come out of bodily platform of life, then it is possible that they will stop this deriding of these great personalities. So Daksha, even though externally he was in a very superior position, he was also Dvija, so-called learned man. But we find that actually he is no better than animal, because he has no spiritual understanding. If anybody is identifying himself with the body, where is his spiritual standing? Correct. His standing is on the platform of animal only. That is the understanding. So, what happens for these people who are on gross bodily platform? They deride Mahatmas. Shobhanam tadeva shobhanam. For them it is good. Because it is not that they will remain in that position. They will glide down. That means they will be penalized, they will be punished. And it is good for them. For a foolish person, he has to understand, he has to come to his senses. And we will find later on, that is how Daksha will be, he will glide down. And then he comes to his senses. The two sons of Kuvera, they glided down to lower species of life. Then they understood their mistake. So, Mahapurushaha pada pumsubhir nirastatejasu. They will become dried up in their life by the potency of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. You see, the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord act in two different ways. One is those who are sincere, those who want to advance in spiritual life. For them, the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord is the most important factor for them to advance in spiritual life. Mahatpad Rajobhishekam. One cannot advance in spiritual life without being blessed by the dust of lotus feet of pure devotee. Whereas, if somebody is an offender to the lotus feet of a pure devotee, the same dust of the lotus feet of those great devotees, they become harmful for him. That his tejasa, his power, a person may be very advanced in spiritual life, but it will diminish. One may have accumulated good number of pious credits, everything will be destroyed. One may have a good fortune, that will also come to an end very soon. One may have very good longevity, even that will come down. See? These are not some fantasies. These are realities. That if one offends a pure devotee of the Lord, all his positive credits will diminish. Whether it is his spiritual advancement or whether it is his material position, material advancement, his longevity, his good fortune, everything will be finished. So one has to be very, very, very careful in spiritual life of not offending the devotees. A very good example Prabhupada is giving in this purport. It is very instructive. Very instructive. Prabhupada is saying, the sunshine actually positively has a very good effect. But it depends on the recipient. If the recipient is able to take advantage, the plant can flourish with nice fruits and flowers. But the same heat, the scorching heat of the sun, can dry up certain vegetation, certain plants and certain vegetables. You see, it can have negative effect also. It can destroy the plant or it can nourish the plant. See what a beautiful example Prabhupada is giving. Similarly, the lotus feet, the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, it can accelerate our advancement in spiritual life. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. If he is pleased with us, then you will obtain the mercy of Krishna directly. Yasya aprasadat. But somehow or other, if we displease a pure devotee of the Lord, Nagati kutopi, there is no way for our good fortune. We should understand this. So is it that the pure devotee of the Lord, he takes so much offenses? The pure devotee of the Lord should not take offenses. Because devotee is supposed not to take offenses. Actually, it is true. The pure devotee never takes any offenses, even if he is offended. You see? It is a quality of a devotee. He never takes offenses on himself. But Prabhupada is explaining that actually it is the Lord who takes these offenses very seriously. If somebody derides the Supreme Lord, he does not mind. But if somebody derides his devotee, the pure devotee of the Lord, then it is, he cannot tolerate. And the example Prabhupada is giving is the same. One can tolerate the scorching heat on his head, but one cannot tolerate the scorching heat on his feet. You can try that. When it is very hot, you can walk barehead, no problem. Is it not? Suppose it is very hot. May not have umbrella. You can still survive. But you try walking bare feet. Cannot tolerate. You cannot even walk further. We require slippers. Similarly, the pure devotees who have taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord cannot tolerate that. He can tolerate if somebody offends him, but he cannot tolerate those who have taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Pure devotees of the Lord, he cannot tolerate. Another very beautiful example Prabhupada gives. Prabhupada says, you can chastise a great man, you can be angry at him, he will tolerate. But if you do any harm to his child, oh, he cannot tolerate that. It's a fact. I'll read that. Prabhupada is telling about. This is about when Prabhupada is relating the story of Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Prabhupada talks about that. So, Durvasa Muni, he was a great yogi. And he became very much envious. Oh, here is a person who is Grahastha, Kshatriya, not even a Brahmana. And he does not practice anything, always engaged in royal activities. And this man is so famous as a great person, great devotee. So actually it was out of enviousness of great personality. You see? So practically in that sense, Durvasa Muni was on bodily platform, and that is why he became envious. Without being on bodily platform, if one is on spiritual platform, there is no envy. Paramo nirmatsaranam satam. The only way to come out of envious nature is to be situated on spiritual platform. Material platform means dualities will exist. Envy, hatred, all these things, respect, disrespect, all these things will exist. So I will chastise him, I will show. He wanted to pick up some quarrel with Amrish Maharaj. See? So, this was his scheming. He became envious that I am a Brahmana, Durvasa Muni is thinking. I am a Brahmana and I am more than a sannyasi. And this Amrish Maharaj, he is not even a Brahmana, he is a Kshatriya. And he is a married man, he is a Grahastha. And he is only practicing, involved in royal activities. I am doing so much severe tapasyas and so many things. And he has become so famous, isn't it? He's called as a great devotee. So he thought that somehow or other I will put him down, I will chastise him. So he wanted to pick up some quarrel. On Dwadashi day, he approached there with 60,000 of disciples and he said, Maharaj, arrange for our prasada. Yes, welcome. But his purpose was different. So he went to take bath in the Ganga and Yamuna and then he came late. In the meantime, he had to observe Dwadashi Parana. With the advice of the Brahmanas, Maharaj Amrish took little water. Brahmanas advised Maharaj, water is food and no food. It has no actually food value. So your guest has not returned as yet. You can take little water and observe the completion of Dwadashi. So he did it. And Durvasa became very angry that I am your guest and you have taken food. That is not food, little water. So he wanted to chastise him, created a big giant to kill Maharaj Amrish. So immediately, Krishna's promise, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Immediately Sudarshan Chakra came and killed that demon immediately. And then he pursued Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni first of all approached Lord Shiva because he was devotee of Shiva. Please give me protection. He said, oh, it is not possible for me. If Sudarshan after you, I cannot do anything. Similarly, he approached Brahma. He also said, no, this is not possible. Then he was so powerful, he approached Lord Vishnu even personally in Vaikuntha. He refused to help him. He said, Durvasa Muni, unless you beg pardon from Amrish Maharaj, there is no question of excusing you. Sudarshan Chakra will not excuse you. Therefore, Vaishnava Aparad is very offensive. You should be very careful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned, Vaishnava Aparad, Hathi Mata. Vaishnava Aparad, offenses at the feet of Vaishnava is exactly like mad elephant. If a mad elephant enters your garden, he spoils everything. Vaishnava Aparad means Hathi Mata. Mata means mad. Hathi means elephant. So we should be very careful not to commit any offenses at the feet of Vaishnava. Vaishnava does not take any offense. So Prabhupada is telling, what actually happens is, it is not that pure devotee becomes offended. He is not taking any offense. That is not the idea. He does not care who is offender, but Krishna takes care. Krishna will never tolerate if a person is Vaishnava Aparadhi. Mind that. And then Prabhupada is giving the example. Just like a big man, you can offend him, he does not mind. But if he does something harmful to his child, oh, he becomes very angry. See? So this is the position we should understand. So Lord Shiva may not mind, that does not matter. But actually what Daksha is doing is a great offense, and that is what Mother Sati is telling. So this very beautiful example which Prabhupada is giving, that the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, it can have two different effects based on one who is receiving. So one can receive the dust of the lotus feet positively to advance in leaps and bounds in spiritual life, or one can offend the lotus feet of a pure devotee and everything positive in his life will become vanquished very soon. There is another very good example which Prabhupada gives about the same principle from the life of two disciples of Madhavendra Puri. Ishwar Puri and Ramachandra Puri. So you can see the spiritual master is the same. And one becomes dried up in his spiritual life and one flourishes. Same example, it's like Prabhupada is giving the example. The same sunlight can be very, advantageous to certain plants that luxuriantly they will grow, and certain plants will dry up. So this is another interesting example. I'll read this. Ramachandra Puri was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, as was Ishwara Puri. So two disciples, Ramachandra Puri and Ishwara Puri. The spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ishwara Puri was the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Formerly, when Madhavendra Puri was at the last stage of his life, Ramachandra Puri came to where he was staying. So in the last stage of his life, when Madhavendra Puri was leaving this world, so his disciple Ramachandra Puri came there. Madhavendra Puri was chanting the holy name of Krishna, and sometimes he would cry out in separation from the Lord. So he would cry out in separation from the Lord. Ramachandra Puri was so foolish, he fearlessly dared to instruct his spiritual master and admonished him by saying, "If you are in full transcendental bliss, why are you crying? You are supposed to be sannyasi and you are supposed to be on that spiritual platform. You are supposed to be in Ananda. Why are you crying?" Madhavendra Puri rebuked him because of incurring his displeasure. Ramachandra Puri glided into material desires and was bound by the modes of material nature. See the result? Glided down to material platform, material desires, bound by material nature. Ishwar Puri, on the other hand, served his Gurudev without any comments, but would do great menial service like cleaning up to his stool and urine when Madhavendra Puri was ill with his own hands. This is we can see the two different examples. One is in the last stage serving his spiritual master up to the point of even cleaning his stool. He was always chanting the holy name of the Lord, and in this way he helped his spiritual master remember the holy name and pastimes of Lord Krishna at the time of death. Pleased with his disciple, Madhavendra Puri embraced him and gave him the benediction that he would be a great devotee of the Lord. So, Prabhupada says that, thus Ishwar Puri became like an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna, whereas Ramachandra Puri became a dry speculator and a critic of everyone else. So, Ishwar Puri became like an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna, and Ramachandra Puri became a dry mental speculator and critic of everyone else. Ishwar Puri received the blessings of Madhavendra Puri, whereas Ramachandra Puri received a rebuke from him. Therefore, these two persons are examples of objects of a great personality's benediction and punishment. So he was benedicted, and whereas Ramachandra Puri was punished. Of course, that is also for his good. So, the greatest offense we can do, because we may think, okay, I don't offend Srila Prabhupada like that. I don't have that offensive mentality. But we are not aware that actually not following his order is an offense to Srila Prabhupada. As an initiated disciples, we have accepted that whatever my spiritual master tells me, I am going to do that. And when we disobey our spiritual master, knowingly, unknowingly, in ignorance, in whatever way, it displeases the spiritual master. So, Prabhupada is saying, neglecting the orders of the spiritual master, the beginning of initiation is to voluntarily accept the spiritual master. It is voluntarily at that time. If you don't want, don't take initiation. Prabhupada is saying, if you don't want, don't take initiation. Voluntarily you have accepted. And after accepting, if you neglect the order of the spiritual master, it is a great offense. So to abide by his order, if you disobey his order, then it is offense. You have asked me if it is true that spiritual master remain in the material universe until all his disciples are transferred to spiritual sky. Answer is yes. This is the rule. Therefore, every student should be very much careful not to commit any offenses which will be detrimental to the promotion to spiritual kingdom, and thereby the spiritual master has to incarnate again to deliver him. This sort of mentality will be a kind of offense to the spiritual master. The number one offense is to disobey the order of the spiritual master. The instruction given to the disciple by the spiritual master at the time of initiation should be strictly followed. That will make one advance in the spiritual path. But if one deliberately defies such instruction, then his advancement is hampered from the very beginning. This defying means to disconnect the relationship with the spiritual master. And anyone who defies and therefore disconnects the relationship with the spiritual master can hardly expect the assistance of spiritual master life after life. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, विश्व गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।